Hello and welcome to Holistic Health Circle. This is a place where you can find top quality education from credentialed holistic healthcare professionals. I'm Dr. Michelle and this is Dr. Jenny. And we are very excited today to be talking to you about the 3 principles of holistic nutrition. The first principle of holistic nutrition is eliminating sources of inflammation. The second is introducing nutrition. And the third is that the body must first cleanse before rebuilding. So, Dr. Jenny, can you talk to us about eliminating sources of inflammation and what that means for all of our patients out there that are watching this video?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Michelle. This is necessary to be the first step of the process of really looking at nutrition from a holistic way. So as a first principle of holistic nutrition, eliminating the inflammation, the sources of inflammation is necessary to do before anything else. And this is because if a cell is clogged with its own metabolic waste, it's not going to be able to receive new nutrition. So if you're having good food at the same time you're having bad food, that good food is going to have little to no effect. It really, when it comes to overall bodily health, it is kind of an all or nothing approach. So cells just in their own processes, these subcellular structures like the Golgi apparatus, the endoplasmic reticulum, the mitochondria, all these subcellular structures produce waste. This is normal, just like we produce waste when we eat nutrition and we eliminate it. But if the cell cannot eliminate the waste because of stagnation, because there's so much inflammation coming in, more inflammation coming in than going out, that cell will become huge and inflamed, retain water. Cells will also retain fat, and it's not going to go anywhere because the inflammation keeps coming in. And even if a salad was eaten or juice was eaten, because the source of inflammation is still there, the underlying issue, the trigger, the root cause, so to speak, is still present. So that cell is going to exhibit signs of stress and inflammation. And when we think of a river, what river would we rather eat fish out of? Would we rather eat fish from a flowing mountain stream that's beautiful and clean and running over rocks and, has fish jumping out of it? That fish would taste much better than a fish from a river where it's stagnant and there's scum on the top and dead fish floating and it's not really flowing everywhere because there's not water to cleanse out pathogenic bacteria and viruses that are growing there. But water cleanses out pathogenic bacteria and viruses, and also the natural toxins produced, the natural waste produced by the subcellular structures. So once this waste is flushed out, then nutrition can come in and do its job, but not until the inflammation is addressed first. And there can be different sources of inflammation. The primary ones we see in our practice are food sources of inflammation, specifically grains, dairy, and sugar that is not from raw fruit. But anything can be inflammatory. Any food item. We have patients allergic to carrots or allergic to cucumbers. That's why looking at underlying issues is necessary and discovering that through our patient process, and then finding out what exactly works for that patient and what is inflammatory to them. But there are products that are inflammatory that we put on our skin. There's inflammatory cleaning products, and finding all those sources of inflammation in our holistic health circle and then eliminating them is key so that we can do the next step of the next principle of holistic nutrition, which is introducing nutrition. And Dr. Michelle, go ahead and talk about that.
Yes, introducing nutrition. So this is kind of what we know that we're going to have to eliminate some things, but this is the part where we're really curious, right? As new patients coming in or patients that have been with us for a long time, introducing nutrition is a really important key. This is how the body is able to heal because it's able to use that nutrition as a building block as for the body to be able to do what it needs to do to heal any organs or tissues, things that are happening in the body. And so I want to talk about digestion here as it relates to nutrition. So we digest our foods and it goes into our stomach, it turns into a semi-liquid, and then it goes into the small intestine. And this is where you absorb nutrients. So B vitamins, C vitamins, vitamins that create energy. Those are all vitamins that you absorb through your food. And guess where you get all of those vitamins from? Good, nutritious food that grows towards the sun. So you're not going to get it from eating a piece of bread. It's just not going to happen that way. You're not going to get it from eating anything from a fast food pickup window. You're not going to get nutrition from those foods. In fact, any little tiny amount of nutrition that you might have gotten will be taken away by all the amounts of inflammation that come with eating those very foods that are very high in bad fats, high in sugars, high in gluten, high in all that dairy. All of that is going to cause you not to be able to absorb the nutrition. That is why it's so important. Dr. Jenny mentioned the first principle, that's why it's first. The first principle is first for a reason. It has to go first, because otherwise, no amount of nutrition that you can throw at this is going to help you feel better. And I like to, at this point, you're thinking, okay, well, I've eliminated food, and I'm adding in more great nutrition. Okay, but you know what? It's been like a long time, and I think I want maybe one cheat day or one cheat meal. Well, your body is getting clean, and it's detoxifying, and it's getting healthier, and it's starting on its new path to being able to do all these wonderful things that maybe you weren't able to do before. Would you go and spend weeks and months cleaning out your house and scrubbing the floors, and then would you sit back and look at it and put your hands on your hips and say, I did such a good job cleaning, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to get some dirt, I'm going to throw it on my floor? Well, that is what a cheat day is. That's what you're doing. You're saying, I did so good, I'm doing all these things, now I can make my house, now I can make my body dirty again. And we want to really encourage you to not do that, to not talk about cheat days and not look forward to those days, but to really understand that nutrition and the vitamins and the minerals and the amino acids that you get from eating these wonderful foods that are real food are the building blocks of your tissues and your organs, and it makes your body, it's what your body is made of. So you are what you eat. You've heard that before, I'm sure, but you literally are. And I like to say, you are what you eat eats, because it's important, and we will get into this in other videos, to be eating food that is organic, because you are what you eat eats, and to be eating food that's grown in soil, because you are eating what your plants are eating too, that soil in the ground. That's going to be another video where we're getting into that as well. But for nutrition, we really want you to take away that it's an important part, that it should be plants and vegetables and fruits that are going to help you regenerate your body and really have success in your path. So the next principle is that the body must first cleanse before rebuilding. And so you've eliminated your sources of inflammation, you've introduced nutrition, and you definitely have convinced you not to have cheat days so far. So now Dr. Jenny is going to talk to us about how the body cleanses before rebuilding and what that looks like for you on this journey.
It is just as crucial to eliminate the inflammation before the nutrition is introduced. And it's a black and white, absolutely scientifically true and 100% of people principle. And what will happen in the body is it will cleanse first before it rebuilds. If a cell is sick and diseased, that sick and diseased cell is not going to produce a healthy cell. It's going to produce another sick and diseased cell. So first, we must cleanse the toxins within the cell. Then that exhausted, newly cleansed cell, when it eventually replicates, it's going to produce cells that are much healthier. And those cells, when they eventually replicate, they're going to produce cells that are much healthier in the third and fourth generation. And that is what many people experience in their first year of really changing their life, that healing journey that everyone goes through that first year. You can experience complete elimination of symptoms that have plagued you for years by following the principles of holistic nutrition. First, eliminating the inflammation. Then, once the cell is not inflamed anymore, it can accept the nutrition. Nutrition can bind to the nutrition receptors. Vitamins can bind to their receptors and be utilized in processes in the body that are beneficial to the immune system, the cardiovascular system, the skeletal system, all of our systems. So first, the body must cleanse, then the body can rebuild, but the body has to clean first. And if you think about, if you're remodeling a kitchen, we remodeled our kitchen this year. When you have your old countertops, the last time that you cook on your stove and you get food on your countertops, you don't want to leave that dried, stuck on food there before you put your new countertops on. You want to clean the old countertops. So that way, when you take your old countertops off, you're not putting tons of food onto your newly swept kitchen floor. You want to cleanse first before you rebuild. If your bathroom's dirty, clean it before the remodeler comes, not because of how it looks, though you want it to look nice too, but because you don't want all that sticky stuff and all that gunk and all that dirt to be remodeled in with it. That just wouldn't make any sense. And like we value the way that our home remodel turns out, like we value that, we should value the way that our body is healing and respect that process. And the body's natural process is first to cleanse, then to rebuild. The body must cleanse first before it rebuilds. Inflammation must be addressed and eliminated first before nutraceuticals and superfoods are introduced. Because if you're eating nutraceuticals and superfoods and the vitamins from them aren't binding to the receptors, then you're flushing away tens or hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in nutraceuticals and superfoods because the toxins are still there. And it's not a 50-50. It's not a, I hear 80-20 often. Well, I'm good 80% of the time. And the interesting thing is, 6 days worth of salads won't salad away a McCheeseburger. It won't. It doesn't work that way. Though the carbohydrates may be used as energy, though the fats and the proteins may be gone, the macronutrients may have been eliminated, the chemical signatures and fake foods that aren't food stay in your body, disrupting hormone levels, causing toxicity in the cell, and continues to wreak havoc and draw up symptoms for weeks or actually months. So it can take months and months for certain chemical signatures to go away that are there from grains and dairy. So the best thing to do is to first eliminate the inflammation at its source, then introduce nutrition so the body can cleanse and rebuild. The 3 principles of holistic nutrition. Dr. Michelle, do you want to recap on that?
That is perfect. I love that. So we've got the 3 principles of holistic nutrition. You know what you have to do. We've got to eliminate sources of inflammation. Then we have to add in our nutrition that's going to help us build our body up. We know that we have to cleanse before the body can rebuild. And this is going to make you successful in your healthcare, in your health journey. In your holistic health journey, right? And so we want to thank you so much for being with us. I'm Dr. Michelle, and this is Dr. Jenny, founder of Holistic Health Circle. And this is a place where you can find top quality education from credentialed holistic healthcare professionals. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.